Been about a year since I updated my home office series, so today we're doing just that. I've got another roundup of home office essentials with some old favorites and some new items, so let's just dive straight into it. First on the list is something simple but has been really great for me. I actually learned about this from MKBHD's channel, so you may already be familiar, but regardless, in case you haven't, this is a USB-C charging cable with a built-in LED display. I found this particular one on Amazon for $14. It's just some no-name brand, but I've been really impressed with the quality and I've really enjoyed the usefulness of having that LED display. You might be wondering why you might want that. There's a handful of reasons I use it and enjoy it. First up, for the YouTube channel, being able to see the readouts of how fast something is charging is a great way to test when I'm reviewing different products. But even for people that don't make YouTube videos, I could see a lot of use for that. You know, you never know what you're going to get. You never know if manufacturers' claims are actually true. This is a great way to check the charging speeds without any extra hassle or trouble, you know, needing a voltmeter or something like that. So it just displays that charging speed right away for you. Even outside of the LED display aspect, if you think that's a gimmick, for $14, it's actually a pretty well-built cable. It's a nylon braided cable. I usually love having braided cables, and it'll charge up to 100 watts. So it works with laptops and things like that, most of them at least. And for $14, even without the display, it's still a pretty good deal for a 100-watt USB-C cable, but I've really loved having that little display on there. It actually lives on the little table behind me here next to my lamp, and I'll charge, you know, battery packs and stuff. But a really great pickup for me. It's become a very useful part of my home office setup. Next item on the list might be the most asked about and commented about item on the YouTube channel, and that is actually this Alvin cutting mat that I have on the desk in front of me here. Obviously, this won't be for everyone. It'll totally depend on your situation, the work you do in your tabletop, but this one is an 18 by 36 cutting mat on a 24-inch by 48-inch desk. I think it's some great dimensions here, but I really like having this for a few reasons, and I'm assuming it's the same reasons everyone asks about it. One, it looks really nice and adds some dimension and aesthetic to the setup here, but it's really nice to be able to protect the tabletop. This is a solid walnut tabletop, and I didn't want to damage or scratch the surface of this, you know, loading in and out products all the time. I can act a little more carelessly on this compared to how I would normally act if this wasn't here. Obviously, it's good for cutting if you're doing arts and crafts and stuff, but for me, it's just a really great way to protect the tabletop. It's nice and thick. This is 3 millimeters, I believe, so it doesn't really have a lot of slide. I have the black side facing up here, but you do have a green side on the other as well if you wanted to change up the look. It was cool finding a black one. Most of them are just green with no option for the flipped sides. It also has measurements on here, which has been really useful and fun for me, but all in all, a really great pick. I actually picked up a second one for my wife's desk out in the living room. It's just really great to have and has become very useful and obviously a quintessential part of the look of the channel, but it's also been really useful for me, and the amount of comments I get about it, I'm sure you might be interested in checking it out as well. And while we're on the topic of desks, the next item is actually my standing desk, both here in front of me and as well at my computer station behind me. These are the FlexiSpot E5 Pro Series standing desks, and FlexiSpot is actually nice enough to sponsor this week's episode, so huge thanks to them. I've been a huge fan of the FlexiSpot standing desks since I got them back in 2021, I believe. So a longtime user here with a lot of experience. I've been thoroughly impressed with the quality of these, especially considering the lower price point compared to a lot of the competitors. Both desks here use the solid walnut tabletop. I have the 48-inch by 24-inch desktop in front of me here and the 60-inch by 30-inch for my computer setup. FlexiSpot uses a 2-motor design for these, so it's plenty fast and surprisingly quiet when it's moving. It has a 287-pound lift capacity as well, so more than enough to handle the weight of my triple monitor setup that I added last year. All in all, it's been super smooth and fast, and it's really stable as well when it's moving, as well as when it's in the, you know, set position, both sitting and standing. You don't need to worry about a ton of wobble like some cheap desks out there will have. The control pad's really nice and intuitive. You obviously have manual up and down control, but you have 3 different preset options as well. I only use 2 out of the 3 in my office here, one dialed in for sitting for optimal position and one dialed in for standing, but this would be really great as well if you share a desk with someone. You can each have your preset for standing. In addition to the presets, you have the option to use a standing reminder as well, which is really clever. You know, some people want to put away their phone while they're deep into a project or working. I love being able to change up the positions throughout the day. Obviously really good for your health, but it helps me focus if I'm in a long extended editing session. You know, stand up for a little while, sit down for a little while. Really great. I have some back problems and scoliosis, so I like being able to have the option for different working positions and environments. Truly, I've been really happy with mine. I can't recommend it enough. They are running a promotion right now for the FlexiSpot anniversary. It runs through May 25th, so be sure to check the links in the description below if you're interested in checking one out or picking one up. Huge thanks again to FlexiSpot for sponsoring this week's video. Next item on the list is from a long-standing favorite company of mine, and that is the Grove-made task knife. I've been using this in the office now for the past few months, and I've really enjoyed having it. It's essentially just a duller kind of single piece, fixed blade, if you want to call it that, little knife that's meant to open boxes and just perform, tasks, as they call it, the task knife. Being honest, for me, it's just a glorified box cutter, but I really like the dull blade on here because you don't run the risk of damaging contents when you're opening boxes, and you don't also have to gunk up and ruin one of your other knives. I used to use a Civivi Elementum. That was my kind of office knife, and that thing looks mangled after opening so many boxes. So it's nice to have something dedicated for that, so I'm not ruining my nicer blades and my pocket knives, and it's nice to have something that's a little more dull so I'm not damaging or having to really worry about damaging stuff when I'm opening a box. These are designed and made near me here in Portland, Oregon, which is great. Another bonus why I'm a huge fan of the Grove-made products. It's a 1.44 inch blade, and it's 4.75 inches in total length, I believe. I have the black finish here, which is a stainless steel. They also have a proper silver stainless steel version and a brass one that is made out of brass. The black one looks great and kind of matches the aesthetic in here, but all three look excellent. I really debated on getting the brass one, but it's been a really nice addition, just a classy item to have around to open up boxes, and I would definitely recommend it if that's something that would fit into your day-to-day home office work. Next up on the list is a pair of headphones, but not just any headphones. These are the Sennheiser HD6XX open back headphones. I will say up front, if you're just doing normal office work and you aren't like an audiophile that loves to listen to really crisp, clear music while you work or something like that, this is probably going to be overkill and unnecessary to have wired headphones, and you'd probably be better off with AirPods or something like that. But if you do any work that involves audio editing or mixing, or if you just really love listening to music in the best way possible through your headphones, I use these for both and absolutely love it. Like I'd mentioned, these are open back headphones, so there is going to be some sound bleed. Not ideal if you're sharing a close workspace, but the sound bleed isn't as bad as I expected when I originally got them. But what that means for the sound is you get a really nice open sound stage. I think they sound excellent. These are actually only $200 as well. They're based off the design for the Sennheiser HD650s, which have been a long-standing favorite in the audio community for quite some time. These are half the price and sound just as good, and according to some reviewers, they actually sound a little bit better. I use these for all of my audio editing and mixing for my video work, for YouTube and client projects as well, but I've also been using these for making music. I've been starting to get into music production with my little MIDI keyboard the past couple of years and been having a lot of fun with that. These are excellent for that. And I also have really grown to love listening to music on these while I'm answering emails and stuff. I do run them into a headphone amp, which isn't entirely necessary. They're 300 ohm headphones. I've tried them without the amp and they still do work and they do sound good, but to be clear, they will sound a bit better when paired with a good headphone amp. I use the JDS Labs Element 2. For the sound signature and sound stage, they are pretty flat. They're not completely flat. They're going to have a little bit of a V curve. I do notice these have a bit of a warmer tone compared to some other almost reference headphones. I found the Audio-Technica, the ATH M50Xs, is that what they're called? I found those to be a little bit too bright for my ears, and they have a pretty deep V in the sound signature. These are much more flat and a little bit easier to work with, but they do have a tinge of warmth. So if you're looking for something completely neutral, 100%, you might want to check elsewhere, but these are really pleasant to listen to. They're flat enough to add audio with. They are super comfortable for extended wear. All in all, can't recommend these enough, especially for the price point. They are just superb. Next up on the list, we've got a permanent marker, but not just any permanent marker. This is the Marksmith titanium permanent marker. I've never seen anything like this before. That's why I wanted to share it here. It's not something that gets heavily used in my office, but it was so cool and unique. I just wanted to talk about it a bit. But yeah, this is a titanium bolt action permanent marker, if you can believe it. So really great, if you are marking a lot of boxes or, packages, invoices, things like that. I think this would be a great, useful tool to have. It's a little less wasteful than buying disposable markers, and it's just a little bit more fun and nicer to use. You can get refills in here. They do also make a pen insert that you can swap in and out as well if you wanted, so it could be a little bit more versatile that way as well. But this thing is just really fun and so unique. I had to share it. Again, a little bit of a niche item. I could see this being really great, if you work in a kitchen or something like that, but obviously I don't do that, but I still wanted to share that for anyone that this would be a good fit for. Definitely a little more EDC gear type of orientation here, but if this is speaking to you, definitely check it out. Really great quality as well. The marker writes really well, and it'll be nice to have for the years to come. Next up, we've got something small and relatively insignificant, but a huge boost to the quality of life if you use any smart bulbs in your home office. This is the Philips Hue Smart Dimmer Switch. Essentially, this is a wall switch that you can pull off and use as a remote, but I mainly use it on my wall, but pulled it off for the video here. It's great to be able to control the lights with your phone, but sometimes you don't want to. Sometimes you don't have your phone with you. It's great to be able to walk into a room, old school, pop on the light, and you can still use your phone if you want as well. You have 4 different programmable buttons, and this does work with the Apple HomeKit, so you can set these to do whatever you want. So I could see a lot of really cool home automation stuff, even outside of just using it for lighting. But another huge thing why I've been enjoying this is because you can have a proper wall switch for your smart lights without having to drill it into your walls or hardwire it. I live in an apartment. I can't do that sort of stuff. I ran into a few issues a few months ago when I tried. So it's great to be able to have this. It just adhesives onto the wall, and this is just magnetized into the little slot. Really useful for me. It's worked perfectly. I have a setting for my filming percentage lights. I have a setting for full blast. I have a setting for kind of my moody editing sessions. Really nice. It's only $25 as well. I would definitely recommend it if you're in need of a switch for the smart lighting. As you've all seen with my office setup, I love that warm, cozy type of vibe. I spend a lot of time in here. I want to make it nice. I want to make it comfortable. I want to make it look good. And part of that comfy, cozy vibe is going to be a throw blanket. This is not something I ever thought I'd be putting into a video like this, but I recently got this cotton knit throw blanket from Amazon and was so impressed with the quality for the pricing. I just really wanted to talk about it and share it. I keep this on my lounge chair that I got a few months back, and it's just so nice to have a comfy, cozy blanket. I don't know about anyone else. I'm not a huge fan of the fleece blankets. I really love that heavy knit blanket feel. One, aesthetically, it looks so much better if you're worried about the design and looks of your office, but it's just nice to have that extra weight. It's almost like a weighted blanket. This thing is so heavy. But it's only $30 on Amazon. I found this when I was looking around, last fall, I believe, and was just so impressed with it. For $30, the quality is excellent. It's always good to have a good cozy blanket in the home office. Again, I know this sounds a bit silly, but I'm sure there are others out there that love using a blanket while they're sitting at their computer chair. This one here is the gray one, but it is more of an oatmeal color, so take warning for that. They have a ton of different colors on there. But I do really like this and think it matches well. Like I said, I got a lounge chair last fall too, which it's been so nice to have. So I lounge, read my book, have my blanket, just so nice and cozy with the warm lighting, and really great for editing too. I usually use it when I'm at my computer as well. But that's actually going to round it up for the video. Be sure to check out the one of these I did last year. It's a completely different set of items. Definitely some other home office favorites. I've been in here full time for almost 5 years now, if you can believe it. So be sure to check that one out as well if you want some more ideas to spruce up the home office. And a side note for those of you that are still watching, if anyone's a Sleep Token fan, I wore this specifically because it's launch day today for the new album. Did anyone pre-order the vinyl? Let's talk about it in the comments. I know there are a couple of you because I put an Easter egg a few months back and some of you noticed. So let me know in the comments, but thank you all so much for watching. I'll talk to you in the next one.